Good morning, everybody. AJ, the CEO here. Thank you so much for stopping by, folks. Hey, how you doing? Hope y'all all doing well. And I'm waiting for my controller to come on, which it hasn't yet. Come on now. I can't. Anyway, folks, I hope y'all are all doing well. And I just realized I still have my old glasses on. I need to put my other ones on. Anyway, folks, hope y'all are all doing well. And why is my controller not starting up? See, it always happens, folks. Anyway, I hope y'all are all doing well. Audio seems to be going through crystal clear. Let me restart my ATEM software so I can get everything controlled. There we go. Now we got our controls. Anyway, I hope y'all are all doing well. Thank y'all all for stopping by. AJ, the CEO here. We do the best of our abilities to come here every Friday to try and answer your media ministry questions. I don't know everything, folks, but hopefully the little bit that I do know will help you on your journey, or I can at least point you in a direction to where you can get some answers to your questions to help you with your media ministry. And I'm trying to prep all this stuff that I had running in the background. Yeah, I think that's still working. Anyway, I hope y'all are all doing well. And folks, we are 48 days, 9 hours, and now 44 minutes away from our third annual e-missionary conference. Is still plenty of time for you to register. We still got time if you're interested in teaching to also get over there as well too. You can find all that information online. And is my stuff prepped? Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and jump over here so I can get all this stuff out of the way. Like I said, 48 days, 9 hours, 44 minutes, and tons and tons and tons and tons of work on this end logistically to try and get stuff straight. Head spinning, trying to get all this stuff done. But just, I'm going to take a quick second just to give you a tour of what it looks like. Once you log in, you're going to be presented with the page. We've learned from the last couple of days. Last couple of times we did this. So right here, when you log in, you're going to get this conference page and you're going to see a quick link to get to each one of the classes. We have the overall session schedule for every class that's going on for day 1 and day 2. If you click over here, it'll reflect. We're still waiting for some of the teachers. If you haven't picked your day, I need you to pick your day so we can update this stuff and give me some details on your information. Because if not, we're going to have to supplement a lot of this stuff with maybe some panels and things like that to fill in. Once you click on here, so let's say I'm actually streaming right now. So if I go over here to classroom number 4, this is what the page is going to look like. You're going to log in and get your, be in the chat. Teachers, if you're playing a video that's already been recorded, still need you to log in so you can interact with people here. Also, if you are doing a pre-recording, please put a slide at the end for questions so that people can ask questions and all this other stuff there. That's for people that are online. We're still trying to work out how we're going to do this for people who are in person, asking questions to people who are remote. Thinking about getting maybe some mini PCs or something in here. But again, this is live. I'm actually streaming this right there from the computer right there behind me. The mini PC is streaming that right now. That's kind of the setup how this will work. Also, when the session is over, about 15 minutes after it's processed, it will have a replay page right here. So if you miss a session, all of the sessions will be loaded here that you can watch back here. So teachers, we're going to go over some stuff as well too. I think I promised today we were going to do a dry run. Just got busy with school stuff and things like that here on the home front. So we're going to look at scheduling that again. But teachers, I'm going to go through a video showing everything, the expectations of what y'all are to do. We need to record locally, as well as we're going to be recording through Vimeo as well too. So make sure everything is being captured so we have a backup and redundancy in case anything happens so that everybody can watch your stuff and replay your stuff. So that's everything that's going on here. And like I said, still plenty of time to go here and get registered in person or online. And then also teachers, if you want to teach, we also have a page for if you want to volunteer to help from online or in person. You know, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So that's what we got going on. Let's holler at some folks out here who are joining me today. Parker. Hello, hello. Phil Joe, good hello to you. Good morning to you. Creative for Fun, one of our teachers, teaching on Canva. Hello, hello. Philip Paul. Hello, hello. Tamara Brown. Good morning to you. Inamdi, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, from Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. Dennis, good morning to you. Richard from the NYC. Hello, hello, sir. Mike from Canada, one of our other teachers teaching on multi-camera production at the conference. Thank you for stopping by. Hamba Brima, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Hello, hello. Darius, how you doing? Brian Jones, another teacher. Yeah, how you doing, sir? Where else am I missing? Daniel, good morning to you. Mr. Clarence, how you doing? Paula, good morning, good morning. Gospel Talk Live ATL, hey, good morning to you. Elder Rob, hello, hello, sir. Mark, hello. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's on the 27th of this month. My company has officially been in business for 9 years. So we broke past the 5-year mark, and next year we're going for 10. I would love to be hit 10 years and be over 100,000. We're about a hop, skip, and a jump away from 70,000 right now as well. Harvey, hello, hello. I hope you are all doing well. And my pedal is not close enough to me. I am also a super proud dad. Ayana has graduated 5th grade. She is going to 8th grade. Man, that would be awesome. She's going to 6th grade. So excited about that. And look, this guy right here couldn't be prouder than at this little girl right here. That's at her graduation stuff or promotion stuff. She got a principal award for leadership. Also, she was outstanding award for her. They have 4 houses there at the school. She's in the red house. And also her promotion there. So really excited and thankful about that. Oh, she also had a honor roll the entire time. So daddy is proud of you, little girl. So we're going to celebrate on our first little cruise, taking her on next month. So that's going to be fun. Before I even go into this, y'all know media ministry stuff. We always are looking at stuff. I had to go to the VA for an appointment yesterday. So I don't know if you saw, I had to get some stuff here put in my arm. But I was there and, I had to take pictures. So for all them people making fun of me and my wires, this is at the VA. Look at all them wires all over the place. And of course, I had to look here at this overpriced Cisco PTZ that they had here. I almost wanted to go up there and touch the computer because they had the resolution off. So the stuff was, hey, you can't turn this stuff off. It's always on all the time. Let me get through the formalities out of the way as well, too. We already talked about the conference. I'm still holding true to my promise on our giveaway because we're getting ready to hit 70,000 and the next one is going to be 80, 90, and 100,000. So there's going to be $2,000 bundles. I'd love to be able to do that at the conference and maybe give it away to somebody who's in attendance at the conference or something like that. But all that information has always been down in the description right there. If you've already entered, don't worry about it. You're already in. If you are a Patreon or YouTube member, your name is entered twice, so you don't have to worry about that at all. I promised that I was going to do that until I hit 250,000 to where we can actually start doing some more stuff. So just be on the mind of that. If you're not a part of the Facebook group, folks, know that you can go to facebook.com, look up Modern Media Ministry Made Easy, answer the 3 questions. You are in like Flynn. You are going to be with 34 to 3,500 media ministries, all with the goal of educating and help each other move forward. That's what it's about. Don't live stream in the group, you'll get kicked out. Don't try and sell stuff in the group, you'll get kicked out. You try foolishness in the group, you get out. If you got a word from God that you want to deliver it somewhere else because it's not for the group. All right? That page is for helping, not to clutter with live streams and all this other stuff. Also, I did have 2 people send me their live stream stuff that we're going to start reviewing. I meant to do that this week, but then I had like 4 doctor's appointments and school stuff. And so it kind of threw my schedule off this week, but I will get to that. Might even try and do that this afternoon for our live stream reviews. If you want to do that, you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Just make sure before you do that, I will probably get a copyright strike for using your stuff. So I need whoever submits it to be the one that can also answer back when I get claims for using your stuff, and I need you to drop it. If not, I can't review your stuff because then my channel will get hit for that. All right. What else do we got? If I don't get to your question, folks, know that you can email me at questions@ajhomes.com. Give me 48 to 72 hours to respond. I'm actually going to be working on some AI stuff to put that in place so you'll get a response back. We're going to be talking a video about that as well, how to do that for your church as well, too. If me and you go back and forth 3 or 4 times, honestly, 3 times, I highly recommend you just go ahead and book a consultation. That way you have dedicated time with me for me to go over your issues, phone, Zoom, in person. We travel, folks, so that's what I would recommend. I think that is enough stuff. We have a roundtable this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the information is inside the Facebook group. Hope to see you there. If you've never been to a roundtable, you don't know what you're missing. And our conference is going to have a roundtable there for all the conference attendees, online and in person, which is going to be awesome. We've done that every single time we've had a conference, so looking forward to that. All right, I've talked enough. I didn't do my normal stuff with ProPresenter and show all that stuff, but whatever. we'll get back over to that later. And no, that's the wrong one. What button am I pressing? That's the wrong one too. Oh well. Anyway, let's get to the questions. If you have a question, folks, please start it off with a Q so it makes it easy for this to jump out to me so I can see it. And I will. I'm actually working on a free GPT that y'all can use in Chat GPT to talk about some stuff. And I was watching a. You know what? I'm gonna divert this just a little bit. I want to promote this guy's channel because I was watching this video right before I came here. So I want people to know just because I like technology doesn't mean that I'm stupid. And meaning that I don't try to live in fear about stuff, but there's some really important things that I think we need to be aware of. So this one video that I watched earlier today was just talking about the potentiality of AI just going crazy. And people too busy trying to beat out competition that it might cause an issue. So again, I don't believe that we should act in a spirit of fear, but at the same time, I think we need to be empowered and know what's going on because the church has turned their eye and they stuck their head. They've done the ostrich syndrome. They've stuck their head in the sand thinking everything is going to pass them by. And we've got brutally attacked because of our ignorance and trying to stay uninformed about things. So I'm trying to type this and speak to y'all at the same time so you can see the stuff. I just want it to be that we need to be aware of the potentialities of what AI can do, and for good and for bad. Just turning our nose to it is not going to stop it. We need more people to be educated about it, to know what it is, because it's very easy to jump on it and just go in fear. And you're just repeating a whole bunch of stuff when you actually have no idea what anybody or any of this stuff is talking about. So just want y'all to be educated about that. Just now, I mean, that anyway, y'all watch the thing and let me know what you think about it as well. I think that's enough. So like I said, if you got a question, start off with a Q. We'll jump to that here, and I'll be working on that. Yeah, I led into that talking about a GPT. I'll explain that later when I get into it. The Chat GPT, you can make your own custom one. So the GPT I was going to make is what I use every time when I post a video, where it summarizes my video, looks at the transcript, downloads the transcript, translates it into the most recent languages that watch my videos. So that way I can make subtitles for those channels, makes a 1-paragraph description of the video, summarizes it, also gives me timestamps that I put inside the video, also makes a blog post of everything that I've done so that I can post it up there, do highlights of it. And I want make that GPT to where you can just send one command and it will do that for you. So that's other stuff that I'm working on. And if you've never done this, I highly recommend you check this out. I'm going to see if I can go to a video so I can show you kind of the idea. I got to be careful because sometimes it doesn't allow you to do all of this stuff. All right, so I'm going to go to my last video, install number 13 of 50. So back behind here, this was all generated through ChatGPT, and it does all the stuff. I used to do this by hand, and it just gets time consuming. The only thing I really do is I put the links for stuff. But when you go here to subtitles, this plugin from TubeBuddy shows the languages that most people are watching. So I've started to create, take the transcript, translate it with Google Translate into those languages. So now if I go to this video and I turn on, I can go here to the gear. I can go to my language and I can pick. So I did the top 3, Filipino, Hindi, and obviously English. I can go here, say to Hindi, turn that on. And now when that video is played, I have that translation there. I can always switch it over to Filipino, and we got all of that stuff being done. And that is a very simple thing that AI can do. So now that your ministry or whatever that you're doing can be shown and be understood by other languages, especially if you download the free TubeBuddy app, it'll show you what the most language of what people are watching. So that's something I've been doing and trying to do that some more. And then when it becomes cheaper, I'll actually upload these other videos to the channels I haven't posted in a while. AJ the CEO, Espanol, and other things, to where I will use it to translate me so that I'm talking in that language as well too. But those are just ideas to think about for your channels as well. Hopefully it'll push the limits of what you're doing. And I'm stalling here, see if we got any questions. If not, you know, we've already do a song and dance here. But creative for fun. Is there another way to show screens throughout the building besides the Thor? And I think I answered this in here. So what I would do, Phyllis, what I would do first is just get a long coax cable, connect it, and run it to the TV, just to make sure the coax splitter that you have, make sure that that signal is coming out there. Because somebody told me about it. Certain materials of your coax splitter can cause issues. I think it was like nickel or whatever. I forgot the one that they said exactly. But plug a cable there. And I think we, unless you've done something different since I've been there last, I thought we did a couple of couplers on there to make the cables longer. I would just run another cable on the floor from the closest distribution. Do you get a signal? That way we can process of elimination to see if it's the cable. If there's a problem with that, you could, and mine is hooked up so I can't grab it. If you are able to get an Ethernet cable there, you could run an HD base T extender that will send that signal over Ethernet, and it goes out from HDMI right into the back of the TV. So hold on a second. So one like this is the one that Aura sent me, and I've been using this for a while. I'm actually going to relocate this and use this at the conference. But it'll HDMI in, this is out actually. The other one is an HDMI in, and it converts everything over to Ethernet. This can go up to 500 feet because it's a different protocol. It can't go into a switch. It goes from right here into the other transmitter, receiver, whichever one. And you only need power on one side because it's sending audio, video, and power over the Ethernet. So like this one is plugged in, the other one is behind me, and I don't need to plug it in. Only one side needs to be plugged in. You could do it that way, or run a fiber optic HDMI cable down to that location if that's accessible. But I would think if it's working perfectly fine, it makes me think it's either the port or the cable. Because if all the other TVs are fine, that's the only thing I can think. I would try that first, but let me know after that. Let me see. Where are we at? Mike, I almost want to call you and chat with you on here because I think I saw something on your Facebook post in the group, and I think I might share that here in a second as well. But working on a sermon intro video for a guest speaker this week and running into this. What's funny is the ChatGPT is giving me the prompts for Sora, and Sora is rejecting them. That's funny. Yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff that really thinking about that you can do with this stuff. So like me, just sit back and think, what's the demographic that not every church, but a lot of churches are not, they're not catering to like the younger generation. So just an idea. What would you do if all of a sudden you took you know what, let's try and do it. I don't know if this has already been done, the text for this, but let's try and do something. Just give you a live example of how some of this stuff will work. So I'll just use Antioch stuff just because that was streamed 4 days ago. Let me see. Did they do, and they haven't done a live transcription yet. So I need a video that actually has transcription on it. You know what, let me use one of these older ones because, yeah, these have transcriptions on here and not Filipino. We want English. All right, so we got this here. So we can come in here. I'm using Glasp for this, and it's going to download this, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. All YouTube videos have a way that you can grab the transcription of this stuff. So this is all the text from here. So we grab this, and by default, it's going to summarize everything. But what I'm going to do is let's push ChatGPT to the limit. Let's say, give me a child-friendly summary of this transcript. Give me a child-friendly summary of this transcript written as a short kids story, highlighting the main points, and give me a video script with actors. All right, let's see what it does. So it's going to summarize it, give me the main points of it. Here's a child-friendly short story matching the video script of this. Mia and the Mirror, a story about mercy. Once upon a time in a little town in Graceville, there lived a little girl named Mia. She loved going to church, singing songs, and helping everyone. Thought Mia was a good kid, and she was. So, you know, and now that's given a short story of it, and it's given a script, given the Pastor Joy. I actually know somebody named Pastor Joy. The video script is given a script of who's talking, all this other stuff. So I can say, create a wide image for the character Mia. Hold on, I did that wrong. Create a wide Pixar style image for the character Mia. That's better. So now again, I'm using the paid version of ChatGPT, which is $5 a month. What that does is allow you to bypass some of the slowdown that happens because you're going to be in a list. So, you know, it's going to be first come, first serve. When you do the free version. Can you do it with the free version? Yes, it's probably just going to take you longer because it might be a bunch of people doing requests and the computer has to process in order who requested it. When you do the paid version, it kind of puts you in a priority queue so it doesn't kind of slow you down with that. So you could do some of stuff like this. You can take the script and say, let me take some of the stuff. So that's 5 scenes. You can tell it how many scenes you want it to do. I'll say Pastor Joy. So I can take that script over here, go to 11 Labs. This is the other voice editing software that I use. And text to speech. I'm going to pick Natasha, which I think, well, let's do Keone. And generate that speech. And I think my audio is coming through here, so yeah. Y'all might not be able to hear that. Hold on a second.
Sorry and want to do better. Jesus said that God comforts us. That's what mercy means.
All right, let me play that again.
Kids, did you know that even people who go to church need God's help? Sometimes we mess up, and when we feel sorry and want to do better, Jesus said that God comforts us. That's what mercy means.
All right, so we can use that, and now we can say, create a wide image for scene 1. So I'll let it create that, and there's the image that it created based on the story. So, and then we could take this, and I'm going to do a deep dive on this because I promised this when I went to Louisiana as well. So say I'm going to take this image. Let's save that. And then I can give her a voice. And then let's go to Kling AI. I think my credits have reset so I can use this. Come on. Hold on. Let me log in real quick. sign in. Come on now. I can't remember what I used to log in when I was in Louisiana. I think I got this. I hope I did. No. I picked the wrong account. Shoot. I don't remember what I logged in with because I'm actually paid for the account. Hold on. I got to log out and go through this. But anyway, let's go back and let's see while it's making my stuff here. So we're back here and it's still making the image. So we'll come back to here. So while y'all are doing that, while it's creating that and I figure out my login for this, let's go and see if y'all got any other questions. All right, back to Creative for Fun. Okay, the splitter is running another TV which works, but the cable that's going into the other room is not working. Should be on cable TV. Well, it all depends on the TV. Hook it up and then on the TV, let it go through its auto scan. And some TVs will look for cable and air at the same time, or you got to switch. I don't recall off the top of my head. I think it's air because it's a digital channel, but sometimes it's different. So I don't really recall off the top of my head right now. Sign out. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what I used to sign in with this. Couldn't have been that. What account did I use? Anyway, let's see. Rob, I thought we had a meeting a couple of weeks ago regarding teaching times and locations. Yeah, we did, but everybody hasn't filled out the time and the date that they wanted. So that way I can fill out the schedule. Because I'm actually making a digital signage with the display cast, the unified display cast. So that is actually going to be hooked up and that's going to run all that stuff. So if I come in here and look at the schedule, all right, so looking at the schedule right now, so we still got some gaps and some times here. I mean, now we do have sessions going on, and I need to update this because Rosalind did give me the title of hers. I mean, on the website it's updated, just not on this form. So we still got some gaps here, but then on day 2, we got a couple of slots still available. Mainly it's just the 4 o'clock one that's going on. I mean, well, we got 4 and 3:30 that we need people to fill out on their times because I haven't gotten everybody who's teaching has not been on here to set their times and everything like that. Like I know, I think, yeah, I put Fred on there because he sent me his stuff. And we got some other slots so we just need to fill out our time for that. So that's what we are working on. I'm sorry, I have no idea what account I logged in with for my stuff. I only got one more email to try to log me in. But let's see what other questions y'all got here. And Elder Rob, yes, I completely agree with you. And I had a conversation with somebody when I was doing an install. They're kind of concerned with still kind of the old adage where they're saying they don't think that it should be like this and like that and some things like that. And I'm just like, I'm trying to be respectful when I say this. It's like, that's just an old mindset that we talked about in the very first book. A lot of people thought radio was the downfall of church. Then that moved to TV was the downfall of church. Then it moved to online. That was that, where it was everybody was against Facebook, YouTube, and it's not that it's against God. What the issue is, people won't acknowledge it. It's fear of change. That's what it always is. Like if you look back in history, they used to say that cars can't go faster than 30 miles an hour because it would suck the wind out of your chest. I mean, that was stuff that or if man was meant to fly, God would have gave him wings. There's always something like that that's really not based in biblical anything. It's really based in a covering of biblical stuff, but it's really just fear. That's all it really is. Man, I'm gonna have to go into my my laptop and find out what login that I had. I know I made all this stuff when I was in Louisiana. I can't find my account to log into Klingon here, which is not good that I don't remember that, because I know I paid for it. Anyway, we got another questions. We'll work our way over to that. Mom's video. Good morning. What drill bit do you use to drill a hole through a thick stucco wall? Honestly, I had a carbide hole saw. That's what I used to go through that. That got me through pretty well. I did so much other stuff. Which anybody that knew actual proper stuff would probably laugh me up under the floor because of that. But that is what I use. And this is really annoying to me that I don't remember what my login is. Let me see if I think that's the right one. I got to go in here and find that out. But anyway, let's go to Philip Paul. I'm getting to know about Zone. I'm having a basic course on drone. Is there a possibility of getting the drone choice directly to the... Oh, wait a minute. I'm missing what you're saying. I'm getting to know about Zone. I don't know what that is. I'm having a basics course on drone. Okay. Is there a possibility of getting the drone shorts directly to the ATEM? Well, I need way more information than that. Are you just talking about that you're learning to fly a drone and you're recording with the drone and you want to know how to get the drone video into the ATEM? Is that what you're asking? Because I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question. I'll circle back to that. We got some good conversation going in here in the community. I agree with fighting against spiritual forces, and we need to be wise to counter them by building our own resources that we can use. Exactly. It's like, it's one thing for the church to sit back and critique everybody else, but if no one is trying to do anything theirself, except for just sitting back and criticizing the people who are doing something, you really don't have a ground to stand on if you're not trying to do something yourself. If you're just running your mouth and criticizing everybody else, that's not learning anything. That's just you being somebody that constantly wants to complain and critique everybody, but when it's your opportunity to do something, you don't. Okay, that wasn't the right account. I have no idea what my login is into this. Anyway, no, I agree with you. Hollis, do you have anyone at the conference who uses Proclaim? I have not had anybody want to teach on that. So right now, currently, no. I know there are people that use Proclaim in the group, but no one has signed up to try and teach anything on that. But you're more than welcome to teach if you know that. If not, like I said, I have a forum at the end asking questions and stuff like that, and I'm also going to make a forum on like what classes need to be done. Like, that's the whole thing. The vision of this is wanting to be able to do and teach the body at large. But see, I'm limited on that. Okay, that was the right account. I'm sorry. I got logged in, but it was saying like it was the wrong thing. I'm sorry. But like, again, the vision of what I wanted to do is, I mean, honestly, just real talk, the the conference is honestly getting a little frustrating. And I don't mean to be a doom and gloom type of guy. It's just that I have visions of what I want to do, but I'm limited that I'm only one person. And my prayer has been for umpteen amount of years of me running my company and stuff like that is to be able to get to a point where I'm able to do more. And we're just not there yet. So just have to be, at peace and calm with the whole thing, that it's not where I want it to be yet, but just believe that, it will move in that direction when the time is right. I mean, that's all I can really do right now. But again, I want to be able to have more and be able to offer more and stuff like that. But I mean, I can only offer but so much. And then we have great people who have signed on, who are helping, which I'm very, very, very much appreciative of that. Sorry, I'm trying to create an image, but it says I'm out of credit, so it hasn't reset yet, so I can't make the image. But like I said, I want to be able to offer all the stuff. Like I have the video, y'all have been asking. I had this stuff set, my computer set up to do the free show tutorial, walk through that and do that. It's just trying to balance out a lot of things. So like even right now, we got a new product that we have to review that was sent to me next day. And I'm a open it so y'all can see what it is. Because as you can see, I haven't opened it. It came in yesterday. So they sent this to me to do a deep dive. I'm not keeping this. I have to send it back to them. That is the YOLO Box Extreme. So we're going to be reviewing that pretty soon, maybe this afternoon. I need to get it to them and then ship it back to them. So we're going to be playing around with that. So, I mean, we just got a lot of stuff. And I do the conference not just for the community, but to show an example of if this short black guy with bald head can do this with God's help. And it might not be as grandiose as I want, but if I'm able to do this, what is stopping any of your churches or you individual from doing something yourself? Excuse me. It's just meant to help push everybody forward. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I got to be careful how I say this because of the monitoring on YouTube. Unfortunately, the body, and I don't want to talk because this is in human nature, but unfortunately, the church shouldn't be like this. We have too many people in the church that are professional firefighters. They are very quick to put out somebody else's fire when we're supposed to be on fire for God and all this other stuff. When somebody is adamant about trying to move forward, it's funny, the fire truck just went by. We have more people that are so quick to want to put out people's fire of trying to do something new to push the kingdom forward. They'd rather snuff that fire out and just have people to comply and get in line with how it used to always be. Nothing ever moves forward with that. So I say all this that, yes, it's kind of frustrating sometimes, but I'm like, if it's going to be, it's going to be up to me. With God's help, and I think we just we've been sitting complacent for so long, just like Mike was saying, Brian was saying, if AI and all these new technologies are coming around and we just stick our head in the sand, we're going to be caught off guard, just like it was in COVID when everybody was like, I'm not looking into these cameras. I'm not looking into live stream. COVID happened. All that magically disappeared. Now everybody loves this as God's blessing with technology to share. Anyway, let me stop. JHB. What is the best way to stream to multiple locations using OBS? The multiple RTMP plugin is one. The Atrium plugin that I reviewed does that as well too. As long as your upload speed is fast enough and the computer is fast enough, those plugins, both of them are free. That is the best way I found to do that. And also, I started this media journey for our church during COVID. Kind of ties in what we were just talking about. Your channel was one of the first to pop up when I was researching. Thank you so much for the years. I am glad to be of help. And to be funny, I don't tell this story all the time. I had some people pull me aside saying that I shouldn't make these videos because I'm showing the world what tech was at a church, which makes them conducive for people to want to rob the church. So that's why we shouldn't share with anybody what we're doing, and we should just keep it to ourselves. So that way it won't foster people to try and come in and break into the church. I said, so no, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm doing this on my Kingdom Based channel, and I have a. See, I could go into super rant mode, but I'm not trying to do that. That's one option. All right, we got some conversations going back. Yeah, real. Do you have a tutorial on creating a mix for live stream or learning how to EQ? Learning how to EQ? No, I don't. I would say look up Drew Brasher on YouTube. He does a lot of stuff. Any of the audio stuff that I don't know, I learned from him about that. Creating a live mix for your live stream, yes, I have tons of videos that go over that. It doesn't really matter the board you're using. The concept is still the same. Either you're going to use an aux mix or a bus mix, and then most of your mixers have some type of channel to adjust for that, and you adjust it that way. And you can set that for there. Top Ministries Family Church. Good morning from Philly. Man, y'all funny. Mark, man, that needs to be on a shirt. The Stone Age didn't end because they ran out of rock. That's what I'm talking about. Roger Gray. Good day. Do you or anyone on here got the NDI input on the Ghost Stream to work? No, I have not. Mine has not. I hadn't been able to get it to work on mine. So I'll put that out there to the group as well, too. Ty. Diablo drill bits are very good bits. Sweet. Yeah. Now add concrete walls with center block filled with rebar and concrete. That was the issue that I had in Chicago. Speaking of the Chicago trip, that thing has been pushed back to maybe late September, early October, but we ended up ordering almost all the other equipment from Ubiquity, and I had it shipped up there, and I'll just tell you all the other stuff that was ordered because I'm not going to be able to see it until I'm actually there in Chicago, probably September or something like that, October. We ordered 16 Access Ultras for the doors, a starter kit that actually came with some other door sensors, 3 rescue keys for backup doors, another access intercom system for a different door, a set of key fobs that goes on your keys, a pack of flex switches, outdoor switches for the cameras outside, some utility boxes, 2 protect viewports for the camera systems, for the security systems, 2 more access points, 2 more 24-port PoE switches, 5 more VoIP cameras, 28 security cameras, and then also 4 12 terabyte hard drives for the NVR, 30 magnetic door locks and door access strikes. So yeah, it's going to be fun up there. So it's going to be. I'm probably going to stay up there for like 2 weeks to do all that. Philip Paul, sorry about the typo. Yes, I'm getting to know about droning. Yes, is there a way to connect the drone feed to the ATEM? Not directly, but also it depends on your drone. Like my earlier Mavic would allow me to stream to a RTMP server, so I set up a RTMP on my computer, and then to a Raspberry Pi. Then the Raspberry Pi had it outputted from HDMI into my ATEM. Or when I had my Mavic 2, this was the controller that had a HDMI out, and I just had a long HDMI cable plugged into that, and then that's how I was able to see what's going on. Now, the bad thing about that is this drone, I really like it. The controller doesn't charge anymore, so I need to see about getting the controller, but that's the Mavic 1. I don't even think they support that anymore. But for example, need a cable. So I would just hook it up like this. And if I go to input number 3, now you're seeing the output. And if I was flying, that's what you would see. And that's how I was able to route this here. So I would fly it outside, but then I would have like a long HDMI cable. And I was connected to the switcher. And then that's how I was able to see what was going on and feed. So that's how sometimes when I was at Antioch, when I was doing this originally, I would have the drone flying up in the air when people were leaving, and we'd post that picture, and everybody's like, when was this taken? I was like, oh, no, this is live. So a bunch of cool little stuff to try. Do you have a video for a Pro Presenter for Dummies? Yes, I do. I wouldn't call you a dummy, but I do have a beginner's guide for it that goes over some of the basics. I need to get back into doing some more stuff like that. So this is what I do have. It's older. I need to make a newer version of it, but this was a new volunteers guide. And this was done 3 years ago. I need to go make an updated one for the current stuff here. So I will copy this link into that. The concepts are still the same. Some of the stuff has changed a little bit, but not that much. Pro Presenter 7 guide. I'll put that there. But again, folks, if you like what we're doing, I really appreciate if you hit that like button. And if you're wondering how come you can't comment in here, these live streams, you have to be a subscriber at least for a day for you to be able to post anything. That's how we get rid of the bots and all the other dumb stuff. Mike, I heard that the YOLO Boxer stream is pretty hefty, both in weight. I just lifted it there, so I can't really tell, but we'll go over that stuff in depth as well. Not professional firefighters. I call them Monday night quarterbacks. Yeah, that too. Yeah, Hollis, I need to recruit some more people. I mean, that's the reason, the beauty of this community. I don't want to be the center of everything. It's to highlight everything that we got, what we can do. And like that's why I always say, y'all are all a genius at some level. The skills that you have that you don't think that are that important, somebody is hungry for those skills. And this conference, the E-Missionary Conference, was always meant to highlight your gifts and share them against different denominations, colors, creeds, whatever, to help move the whole body of Christ forward. And honestly, a lot. Keep your mouth shut, AJ. I'm going to keep my mouth shut this time around. Now, we'll talk about that on the round table. That's when we'll be more candid. I just kind of don't want to go into that right now about how stupid. No, AJ, don't say that. Don't say that. Brian, usually, all right, we got some folks helping each other, so that's good. Back to Elder Rob. The church is always the last to move. The Apostle Paul had this problem in Acts. That's why we need the Holy Spirit to move. Exactly. But some people completely forget about that, and they try to do everything themselves, and they think that they are wiser than AJ. You're going into it again. Recommend the best AI to use for our church operation. Well, that all depends what you're trying to do with it. Need some more details on what exactly operation you're trying to do. Harvey, I saw a documentary on gospel music that covered the exact same issue about the discomfort some felt about the change in music versus tradition. The documentary showed how this happens every generation. Yeah, it never ends because there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, humans are still stupid. Just call it the way it is, that we fight. We're reluctant to change. And then all of a sudden, when we're forced to change, now we get on the bandwagon as if it was our idea the entire time, completely forgetting about that you were the stonewall tripping up everybody that wanted to move forward because you wanted to stay the same. That's just history in general. I remember my grandma Rebecca, my mom's mom, she still swore up and down on her deathbed that we never went to the moon. It was all something done in Hollywood. Just like there's still people that say the earth is flat, it's not round. And I'm like, well, then I ain't even going to go into that one. I mean, it's just people resist change. Because in the iceberg methodology, if you understand that, where you see the iceberg, but it's so much more under the ground, fear and anger is a secondary emotion, meaning that you get angry and not wanting to change. That's really secondary because it's something else. And that's the fear of you becoming irrelevant. That's the fear of you losing power. That's people fight that anger changed because of something else, which most of the time with me being around the churches is because the people who used to be in control, this technology shift is so much advanced of them that they can't keep up. So what they do is they stifle growth so that they can stay in that leadership position, not realizing that's killing the growth of the ministry. And then when that person dies off, they leave or whatever, now the church is in a such worse position of trying to play catch up because one person didn't want to share the power that they've been hoarding for so long. And now to appease their ego, another church is, another building, a group is dying because of a person's ego is in the way. Pop at Midnight 32. I can say this without a shadow of a doubt. If Jesus had this tech when he was walking the earth, he would have used it. It helps with the Great Commission, which is what we're saying. Exactly. Plus, every good and perfect gift comes from God. He allowed it to happen in the first place. Man doesn't make all this other stuff in a vacuum by themselves. Inspiration comes from the imagination. The imagination is what is the conduit where God's Spirit talks to us, and we hear that. That's where we get aha moments and stuff like that. That didn't come out of thin air. That's where that stuff comes from. But the church zealots completely forget about that. Like, oh, God didn't make that. Then if God didn't make it, it wouldn't be here. Since it's here, he gave the insight and the wisdom to do it and to make it, to invent it, to create it, to discover it. Because when he said, let there be light, that made everything in existence. All we're doing is discovering the things that he's already created. But we're not going down to that. Hammer drill with a diamond masonry bit we'll go through it all. Yeah, I blew through 2 of them when I was in Chicago, and I need to get another one with that. Gospel Talk Live ATL. Also, I have 2 PTZ Optics Move 30Xs. There's no way to run cables. So can I use NDI without jet lag and just use the tech dummies? You can. Just make sure that it's configured right so that it doesn't bottleneck your network. So that it can be done. Yes, that can work. I personally just don't do it just because most of the people I set this stuff up, they're not tech savvy. So if they had a networking issue or something NDI related, I would be called back out to do it. When I set stuff up, I don't want to have to go. I don't want a church to have to depend on me to fix stuff all the time, which sounds crazy, but I just don't. Which is funny. I'm not going to tell you the church that actually said this to me. But somebody told me recently, they were like, AJ, we went with you. And again, I'm giving away all my secrets right now. I had one church tell me, AJ, the work that you did, we brought in 3 other companies and your price offered more than all of the other ones. And it was 1/8 the price of the next closest person. So that was kind of a punch in my stomach that I'm just like, AJ, you are undercharging what you're doing. But at the same time, it just shows that it's like a lot of people out there are ripping people. Anyway, ripping people off. Back to Elder Rob. I might be inclined to teach my topic from last year's online conference if you need another. Honestly, I would probably say yeah, but Elder Rob, what I really am leaning towards is having a bunch more panel discussions, because obviously there's a lot of stuff that, let's just get real. Most churches don't want to talk about it because they have the thoughts, but they don't want to talk about it because it's going to stick their head above the crowd. And what happens when you stick your head above the crowd? You make a better target for tomatoes. And a lot of stuff needs to be talked about that people don't want to talk about. Why are young people leaving the church? Why are young adults leaving the church? When is it time for you to gracefully bow out? When is there a time that needs to, I talked about it before, where we need to have an administrator of technology, a minister of technology, to where people who are, man, I'm trying not to be political when I say this, but I'm just going to tell you my personal opinion. My personal opinion, I think the term limit should be at 8 years, maybe 10 years max, because I have a big issue with people making decisions on technology when they stupidly think that Chinese governments can, read your thoughts because you have an earbud in your ear. Like, it is divorced from reality that these mugs don't know nothing about what they're talking about. So how are you making decisions on technology when you're still using a BlackBerry? Anyway, I say all that to say the same way I think that leadership in certain positions in churches, it's not about pushing people out. I believe that there needs to be succession planning, meaning that, yes, you have older folks because of their wisdom, but then you have younger people because their closeness to relevance to what stuff is coming out right now. The olders, after they transition, they start handing off their wisdom in how to deal with people. And that helps mold these folks that understand the technology better. And then when the next generation, it does that. But what's happening is people become the head of a ministry when they're 30, and then they literally don't retire being that ministry leader until they're dead. Anyway, let me get back to y'all's questions. Harvey, do you have a training video on how to online teach? Honestly, looking at any of my videos is an example of it. I did do a video about showing how to get to the point and get out the way. I can't remember what that video is, but I remember talking about that. And that's one of my pet peeves. It's not a microwave mentality. And I try not to do this on my channel because, like, the rage inside of me increases exponentially when I watch a video when somebody's like, hey, do you want to need help with this and this and this? And they just talk and talk and talk. And I'm like, get to the point. Get to the point of what you're trying to talk about. Like, I'm trying to find out how to drill this hole in stucco, and you talking about the history of stucco. That's not what I'm here for. So I say the same thing with your church videos. If somebody is looking online for, I need help with depression or something like that, we don't need to go through a long tirade. That's fine. If you want to have that video, that's your live stream, you have something. The content that I'm trying to help and talk that media ministries need to make is just like the approach of Jesus. Jesus met the need first, then got to this. It wasn't like us, like, thou son of David, heal me. Well, have you gone to church? No, he solved the need. So if somebody's coming to your channel looking for some help with depression, get to the point. Make a short video of that, getting to the point and answer it. And that way it builds trust in people to be like, they didn't waste my time. I got an answer immediately. And because that trust is built, now the person, the viewer, chooses to watch your longer content. Then they choose to watch the long form video. We're trying to hold people hostage to watch the entire thing when you just get to the point. Honestly, I give music and I give videos. I give you 10 seconds. If you haven't gotten to the point and you start rammering on, talking about that same stuff, like just egging people on, I'm like, I will unwatch you, unsubscribe, and then also list it as do not recommend this channel ever to me again. That's just me. Anyway, John, a bit late to the party, but just wanted to say hi and hey, thank you, sir. Thank you for stopping by. Dennis, not stupid, just there are different levels of ignorance that being said without sounding negative or derogatory. No, I agree. I get charged up, so I try to watch my language. I don't mean to call people stupid. Actions are stupid. People act stupid. People aren't stupid. It's a nice way to say that. Philip Paul, can the Stream Deck button able to control the XR? I don't know. I mean, if there's an interaction, yes, ultimately it is. Natively, no. You would have to be able to write a command that talks to the API level of that. To my knowledge, no, there is no API level access I'm aware of with the XR18. I'm sure it could be done. I'm just not aware of that. Papa Midnight. So you can use your drone to stream to RTMP. Once you have that stream going, you can translate it to HLS. Once it's there, then you can send it directly to the web or bring it to OBS directly. Yes, that is how I did that originally back in the day. The newer drones, they don't stream directly. At least my Mavic 4 Mini and the Neo and my Avata don't offer that as an option. But if you're able to use a custom streaming directly from the device. I streamed to something local. Like I had my computer locally do it, and then I had it translate out or send. I mean, you can capture it over OBS directly. I had it so it wasn't bottlenecking that. So I had a separate device just capturing only that, and then I sent it over. So yes, that would work. Back to John, not AV related, but for those who play guitar, bass, I just picked up a Spark Neo wireless Bluetooth headphone with an amp pedal modeling, and it's a great practice tool. Yeah, my daughter's godfather has something like that with his bass when we play. Awesome. It makes you think the Earth is round. We went to the moon, and birds aren't real. Gentleman's room. What type of lighting do you need for video? Well, that all depends on the type of room that you're in and where you're going to be recording from. Need a little bit more info to help you with that. But for the most part, you have 2 lights. You also could have a headlight that helps separates the person that you're doing. So that's 3-point lighting. I mean, I kind of have that. I don't have a light behind me, but I have the RGB lighting here that's kind of acting like that. I got the RGBs in the back, and then I have the little strip that's around my desk. It just helps separate me from it, but need a little bit more information about your area for how you're doing that. Samuel, which is the best way to get video feed of what is happening back at our church, old church, while streaming from our new church ground during the day of relocation? Well, that's kind of easy. What kind of the same thing we just talked about with the drone stuff. You would do the same thing. So you can get a Raspberry Pi. That's not it. Well, there's a bunch of things you could do. You could, on that location, stream that to a private page on YouTube or whatever, and then capture that video into your new church. You could do it that way, or in reverse. You could set up a Raspberry Pi or any of these other things, software that you can download, Windows, a Mac, Linux, whatever. Set up your own, like you can use Owncast. Ooh, excuse me. I almost had to sneeze and burp at the same time. You can stream that way and then show that video. So the computer at your old location is streaming to that platform, and then at the new location, they can just look at that platform. Again, I don't know what equipment that you got. If you have an ATEM, you could have the streaming bridge stream to the streaming bridge of the other location, and the streaming bridge has HDMI out, and you just plug it into whatever. There's a bunch of ways you could do it, but need to know what equipment that you have. Hollis, read that book, and very, very good. Who Moved the Cheese by Spencer talks about this concisely. Everything changes. My dad read that book. Well, after my dad passed in 2003, he has a bunch of books downstairs, and I saw that book, and I had already read that book, so I didn't even know my dad had read that. But yes, that is a very good book as well. What is the conference link? That is, and you know what? That's what I meant to hit the button for. Where is? Change that to media. There we go. So the link is right in. Why is my? There it goes. But why was my color all the way off with that? That's strange. I don't know why it's doing that, but it's 4meconference.com. I have no idea why my color went like that. That's strange. Rob, churches definitely need a pastor over technology. This should fall under the executive pastor, but I have found that people are jack of all trades and master of none. I'm fighting this now. Totally understand. Ty, those mugs don't know nothing. I mean, I am, but see, and it's because it's like, if y'all only knew the stuff that I don't record, when I have conversations with the people, when I'm doing the installs, I see the heart or the lack of heart or the lack of vision with this stuff being installed. I've had a bunch of churches, they install this stuff because they're still trying to keep up with the Joneses, and they miss the ministry, the evangelism concept of putting cameras, putting TVs and all this other stuff. It's still meant for catering locally. Not at all about evangelizing and talking outside the church to reach the lost, the people that don't know about anything. And it infuriates me because people are confident in their ignorance. They are bold and forceful with their lack of knowledge. And it's infuriating because if you sit back and look, that it's like you don't know what you're talking about. And it's obvious because when you allow the people to lead, the stuff that you try to warn people about comes ahead, and then they ask you to come in and fix it, which is what you tried to tell them at the very beginning. And then when you fix it, now they save face, and then they still go back. They never learned their lesson. They just go back and still do the same stuff. And I say that so many times, like if you've had anybody, kids that have graduated at any point in time from high school and they haven't came back, my question is, has anybody, I'll poll this to y'all on here. If you've had any kids that's graduated from high school and they haven't came back, has anyone ever asked how come they haven't came back? Especially if they still live locally. Has anybody asked that question? Because most people don't. And instead of seeing, wow, our congregation is getting older, but the people who grew up here, when they're able to leave, they don't want to come back. Has anybody asked why? And if you did and you got an answer, are you trying to do anything to fix it? If you're not answering that question and you have no interest in fixing it, go ahead and put an expiration date on the outside of your building because you're about ready to end pretty soon. Mom's video, flip phones, rotary phones, dial-up internet, front projection TVs, all still in use at some churches. Let's move forward, people. Man, look, I saw one church still had a 56K modem. Like, who are you connecting to get internet? And what are you watching? Because that 56K would take well, I mean, if you're going back to lighting, kind of still need to know the layout of what you're doing. Like, what's the room? If you can send a link in the chat or something like that of like, if there's a way that you can show a picture of the church and get an idea, we can kind of mark it in a direction and kind of point you in a direction as best as we can. Philip Paul, can I know what is the function of an X and Y? That's a grouping that you could do in the audio. So let me open mine up here. So that is a part of auto mixing that you can group different controls. And let me change the size of this so you can see better. That's still not big enough. There we go. All right. So with auto mixing, the X and Y, you can group different stuff to certain controls and certain channels. So it'll help you automatically mix. So you could set these certain channels to that, and then it would kind of do some auto mixing. Now, I only know this from reading through it in detail. I have not messed with it, but that's what that is, because it's the same thing with the X32 and some other ones like that. It's a way of grouping some stuff, and it will actually help do an auto mix. Other than that, I don't know, because I only messed with it once, and this was a while ago when I was still trying to learn the stuff, and I had to set the board up, so I didn't get a chance to do a deep dive into playing around with that. Darius, using Companion, you can control the X18 with the Stream Deck. I use it a setup, and it works very well. Awesome. Thank you for that, Darius. Rob Wilson, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Exactly. But, we have these statements, but it's like, for whatever reason, people just don't apply them in any way, shape, or form, which is just magically impressive on why people keep doing the stuff that they do. But I don't know. All right, so let's see. Has enough time gone by to see what ChatGPT made? All right, so yay, it made this image. So scene one, this is this, and then you could make both of this animated, but it looks like it didn't follow the anime style. So I need to Pixar style, and there's tons of different styles. Create a wide Pixar style image of scene one. We'll let it recreate that. But there's so many different things that you could play around with that. Let's see. Do we got any new questions here? Back to Papa Midnight. Perseverance without insight will lead to the same outcome. I'm an IT engineer. I do the same thing over and over and expect different results. Yeah, exactly. So it's nothing the matter with, but see, that's the thing. It's like doing the same thing. You're really not doing the same thing because you're making slight changes. Other people are just like, oh, I'm just rinse and repeating this. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to have any insight. I'm not going to analyze what I've done to steer me in a different direction. And that's what, people just, the ostrich mentality, they just stick their head in the sand. And as long as we just keep going, everything will get better. No, it won't. It won't get better unless you're trying to get some type of insight on what you're doing. You do an evaluation of what you're doing, some type of something, But the thing is so much fun. And actually, I need to stop this from live streaming. Hold on a second. I forgot it was streaming to the website the entire time, the conference website. Gospel Talk Live ATL. I noticed you use Draw for your network and production maps. I tried but couldn't get my own clip art and images in the drawings that possible. Yes, it is. You have to upload it. I forgot the image of how it does that. Hold on, I'll bring it up real quick. Let me show you because it just finished generating this image as well too. So that was the first image that it drew. Pretty little girl, almost looked like Ayana when she was little. Before she had her dreads. She used to have a big afro. And I used to just mess with her hair all the time. I still mess with her hair now. Hold on, wait a minute. What she got? She got some nuggets, some peas, and some mac and cheese. Great day. I didn't even see what the story was, but looks kind of. And then right after that, picture of my daughter came up with her little afro on my screen right there. Let's see. Draw.io. Now, I mean, Vizio does it as well, too. I don't mess with Vizio just because, I didn't have Microsoft Office until they started making it free. But let me see. Actually, I still had this open from another time I was using this. So you could, where is it at? Because I know I saw it. There was a way that you could add your own images in there because I've had other people do it. And why am I drawing a blank? Oh, yeah, there it is, image. And then you can add your images there and you can use whatever. So it's right down on the plus that you can add your own. So there you go. I hope that helps you. Back to Elder Rob. It's like pouring water into a cup with a hole in it, expecting the water to hold water. Exactly. Ernesto, my fave tech. There's a slight hiss in the sound. What would be causing that? Sorry if you already answered it. There's a slight hiss in the sound. In my sound, or are you talking about in general? If you're talking about the hiss, it's most likely this fan that's blowing in an angle. If you're saying it's my sound. Nah, there is a slight because I do have some noise cancellation on it. And as well as on this mic here, it does that as well. So that's probably what it is. If you're talking about my sound, that's probably what it is. Let's see, folks. Here's a question for y'all. And maybe I'll do this. When's the last time the current computers that you're using, the system that you're using at your media ministry, when's the last time you've done an upgrade? I was talking to Rakira last night because I got to change out the ceiling speakers at Antioch because at a conference they blew the ceiling speakers, so I got to replace them. But I was talking to her, and the computers at Antioch, I built all of them. And every time I used to upgrade my computers here, I took the parts that were still perfectly good and put them in the other church. So like I had a RX 6600, 6500 GPU used to be in this system, and I moved this to a RTX 3050, and that RX 6600 AMD, it was good. So I put that in the video editing system since Rakira is using DaVinci Resolve more, so that just helps with a faster CPU, GPU to help process that. But anyway, when's the last time your computer's been upgraded? I say all that to say that the computers at Antioch have not been upgraded in 8 years. They're still running a Ryzen 5 1500, which still the live stream is working perfectly fine, 30%, not doing anything. But it's just like the same way. At a certain point, it's going to be more costly to upgrade the whole thing and get a new system than it is to piecemeal it and move it forward. So the first thing I suggested to her, all the hard drives are 250 gig NVMe's. You can get a 1 terabyte NVMe for $40. So that's the first thing I would say. And they have some mechanical drives. Get rid of all the mechanical drives unless you have some long-term storage stuff that's not accessed that much. But move everything to SSDs or NVMe's, mainly because they're just so much faster. Because like right now, if I bring this over, I was just trying to price out the upgrade. Some of the parts that I use, like, well, this is a 2 terabyte NVMe, but that's going for $100. But like a 1 terabyte right here is like, $58. And that's going to be 4 times bigger hard drive and faster that they would use. So that would be my recommendation. But again, my question is, when's the last time y'all have upgraded y'all stuff? Love to hear what y'all think. Because I think we need to have an expectation of like, this stuff doesn't just stay good forever. It can work, but I'm all about upgrading when you need to. And then after you upgrade it, when you know you've reached the limits of what it can do, but then also upgrade when it's like, okay, they don't make this anymore. So I need to get off of what I'm using right now. Back to Elder Rob. How do you have your DJI wireless mic connected to your mixer and ATEM? Well, I have it going into my Rodecaster, and then my Rodecaster Pro 2, and then the Rodecaster Pro 2 is looped out into my ATEM. That's how I have it connected. Mom's video. Hold on. Why is the computer frozen? That was strange. Mom's video. We upgraded our streaming computer 4 months ago. Can't upgrade the Mac. We only use it for ProPresenter. See, you said it, not me. That's the only issue that I will say publicly why I have an issue with Mac. You just can't upgrade it as much. I mean, you can add certain stuff to it, but I mean, other than that, you're not going to be able to do as much. Why does it keep? Anyway, like right now, if I remote in, this is the computer there. So this is only 250 for the main hard drive, and then it's a 1 terabyte here. But I believe this is a mechanical drive. I believe. Yeah, that's a Western Digital mechanical drive. Just moving those over to like upgrading this to a 1 terabyte, and then also putting, if it was still going to be a SSD, which would be faster, because I don't believe that motherboard is a B450. So like a 2 terabyte SSD, you're $80 for that. And that would give faster performance as well too for that. So normally I would do stuff like that, but I'm not in a position to do that because the powers that be. I'll leave it as that. Awesome. You said you built your computer around January last year. Sweet. Our church finally took my advice and upgraded the streaming PC to a new Mac Mini. World of difference. And you got the M4, right? Heard those are really good. Bruce, another teacher here. Elder Rob is also a teacher as well too. Sorry if I didn't mention that. We switched our PC tower to a Mac laptop at church. Lots of dock stations looks man. But yeah, things is really sweet. I need to see if it's a half day of school today. Since it's the last day of school, I want to see if I can. I just got a message saying that my daughter was reported absent at school. Like, no. Sorry, daddy duties real quick. All right. Man, like I said, it's like just really excited. We got a lot of stuff going on. Also, I sent out an email. This includes the teachers. If you have not picked your meal for what you're getting for lunch, you know, don't be mad if you ain't got no food. Like, you got to get the pick of the litter. So right now, out of everybody that's on here, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Only 13 people have picked out their food. So, you know, if I bring like some Purina puppy chow, that's what everybody else is gonna have to eat. But nah, I sent out an email for that, folks. Go ahead and do that. Also, all attendees online and in person. You know what? Let's do this because I haven't done this in a minute. Let's give away a couple of free online accesses to the conference. Hadn't done that in a minute because we've been so busy. So let's see what we can do about that. I need to give something pertinent on how to do that. Let's see what we can do. Let's do this as a poll. Need to find a way so I can get y'all some you know what? I'm just gonna let the odds be ever in your favor. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put the code here. If you already have access and you're already attending the conference, please don't use the code. Gonna make it fair for everybody. This is gonna be for online only. Online only. I am gonna limit this. I have 3 codes. It's gonna actually, let me change this. I'm gonna use this one code and I'm gonna turn it on and I'm gonna limit it to 5 uses. This code will expire. This code will expire tomorrow. So it will expire tomorrow. And it is limited to online attendees only. And usage limit is 1 per person, but the code can be used 5 times. So 5 people will be able to attend the conference for free. All right. So let me go ahead and put some information up here so it can look all nice and pretty and all this other stuff. Elder Rob, you talk about you forgot to add steak, man. Steak is not an option. Man, I still gotta get Fatima for the dinner stuff. So like I said, I'm just really excited about that. Gonna have some, hopefully have some fun. I want this to be something that's can be highly promoted and y'all could recommend this to people the next year, because you know, hopefully we'll continue to have this as often as possible. Really want to, especially this is the first time we did it in person. We're gonna do some more stuff as well too. So change this text here. Free 5 first come, first serve. That's not the right text. Why can't I say this? Free for the first 5 users. How about that? That's better. We'll do that. And that color is not right, so I need to change this color so that the ATEM doesn't erase it. And again, I know, I'm sorry. I should have been more prepared. So we just decided to do this off a whim, because I want to have more of y'all good people there. All right, take this. We're gonna export this to the ATEM. Gonna move that to media pool number 1, and we'll call it codes. So again, this is going to be first come, first serve, folks. All right. And you go to 4meconference.com and there you go. There's the code. So the first 5 to use it, that's what you would get. And I need to, why is that still blurring out that image like that? I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, that's better. There we go. So the first 5 to use that, please, if you already have access, save it for some other folks. This is for online only. All righty. So I hope that works for y'all and may the odds be ever in your favor. So I'll leave that up just for a little bit. You're with streaming services. Any recommendations on an app that scans for the best channels when using wireless HDMI transmitter? I'm not aware of that. Most of the time they have it built into whatever you're streaming with. I'm not aware of a separate program that does that. Esteban Hernandez from Miami, Florida. Hey, how you doing? I'll already be in Miami in about 20 days myself. With vacation mode. Smart Tribe. My church's A10 Mini has signal losses. The HDMI ports have stopped getting signals. Sometimes it works, but changes the HDMI cables. But it is mostly hit and miss. Any solution or need a new? Honestly, at that price, it's a new one. It looks like if it's doing that, it's not the cable. Probably the HDMI has become unloose. I mean, the solder has became loose on the motherboard, and that's why turning it and making it gets contact, your HDMI is back. At that point, it needs to be fixed, but at $295, it would cost you about as much as getting a new A10 Mini Pro as it would to fix it, unless you know how to micro solder and you can open up and do it yourself. But I wouldn't test that. Vladimir, how are you? I'm doing good. Can I set the mic in stick control PTZ, or I need a different device to set audio? Can I set the mic in a stick control? What do you mean? You want to hook the mic up directly to a PTZ so that that's capturing the audio? Is that what you're asking? Let me know. Make sure I get that straight with that. Back to Hollis. I have the Acme special for my meals. The Ludium Pill 36 explosive space modulator, like Marvin the Martian. But let's see. Has anybody used this code yet? Let's see. All right, I see one person just used it. 2 people just used it. Yeah, only 2 people have used it so far. That's Derek Green and Mason Heinz. They've both used those. So we still got 3 more uses, folks, for that. I'm going to leave it up just a little bit longer. But again, love for y'all to be there. Also, if you've registered, teachers especially, please familiarize yourself with the website and how to get to everything and see everything. Teachers especially, please practice connecting your stuff there. There are assets that you can use if you're using OBS or whatever. Especially the last slide for your form that needs to be displayed. Some of the classrooms, we're going to have an A10. I have an A10 Mini Pro that's going to be sitting in one of the classrooms. And that's going to be saved so that way you get a slide at the end of the graphics and everything like that you can ask people that we're capturing for each class and all this other stuff like that. All right, so Vladimir, you said you're from Brazil, no problem. And you said your question again was how you can connect. I need a different device to set audio. Vladimir, put it in your, say what you need to say in your native language, and I'll translate it, and then I get it back to you to make sure I answer your question appropriately. So let's type it out how you normally would do in your native tongue. And don't worry about English, and we'll translate it on this side to get you what you need. All right. Hey, you are welcome. All righty. Let's see. Still 2 people have used it so far. So we got So I think we've actually, some people got through, but it didn't let you use your code because I think some people were using it at the same time. So we got Alex. It looks like yours didn't go all the way through, or you haven't finished the last part because it's a 2-step and it kicks you over with using that code during checkout. So I think we've exhausted our 5. Y'all just need to finish the process so it'll go all the way through with that. So I think we've used our 5, so I can take that down now. Let's see. How many times was this used? It actually says one more time, but I see 5 people say they probably just haven't finished the last checkout. So I would say that all the codes have been used. So thank y'all for that. I hope y'all get something out of the conference as well. There you go, Alex. Yours did go through. It moved you to the next phase. And then Harold, you were the last one. So you're actually outside of that, but I'll move you over anyway. So if y'all made all the accounts, y'all are good. So I'm actually just going to move y'all over. So we got 6 more people that's going to be joining us. So awesome. Awesome sauce for that. Make sure that y'all are comfortable with the website and you navigate and all that other fun stuff as well. So again, just appreciate that. And yeah, so there we go. So we got people got on board with that are Derek Green, Mason Heinz, Alex, Esteban Hernandez, Christopher King, and Harold Kraus. Looking forward to seeing y'all and chatting with y'all online at the conference. So awesome. Excited about that. Let me give a big shout out. We got some new Patreon supporters and some new YouTube members. So this was updated this morning. So again, thank you so much. If you like what we do, folks, just realize that I am not sponsored by anybody except for my own company and the great people on the screen like this. So if you like what we do and you want to contribute to what we're doing on a monthly basis, you can go to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO and get started as low as $1.50 a month. Or you can click the join button down below to become a YouTube member. No matter which way you pick, folks, you are helping us train and empower media ministries all over the world, and Patreon supporters and YouTube member supporters in general. You're actually listed in all my giveaways twice. Y'all also have a discount code on Patreon and on the YouTube member page, the community tab, that y'all get a discount just for being a Patreon and YouTube member and a supporter in general. So if you register for the conference and you're one of those, please use that code so that you can get there. And I think that's about it. Let me answer these last 2. Hollis, I don't see an email. That's strange. I sent it out. Hold on 1 second. I have no idea why Outlook is acting up. It won't open up. Hold on. Because I sent it to everybody. I sent it as a blind carbon copy so that way nobody can see each other's emails and all this other stuff. Did I put it on the website? I think I did, but I just didn't advertise it. Hold on. I need to make that as a page that y'all can see immediately. I was trying to keep everything on the website, but this was like a Google form that you had to fill out with that. So, I mean, I don't like doing this. I'm going to put it out here. I'm going to put it on the chat, but I'm going to cross-reference this with your registration. If you didn't register, whatever. I mean, your stuff is going to get thrown out. This is the easiest way. Don't want to do it this way, but there it is. That's the form that you would put out there that y'all need to register and get your information on there to pick out your meals for lunch. Dinner is already going to be picked. That's going to be catered. And then for like breakfast and stuff like that, I'm going to grab some stuff from like Panera Bread and some other stuff to get y'all some vittles and things like that. If we got anything left over, I'll try and do something bigger than that. Let me answer these last couple of ones. Samuel I'm getting a Mac Mini M4, Pro Presenter 7, and PTZ Optics SE Move, and an A10 Mini Pro. Can I use the USB-C, the HDMI cable from my Mac? Can I use a USB-C to HDMI cable from my Mac to the A10 Mini to show on my live stream? Yes. If the Mac represents can send that over that and it converts it properly from USB to HDMI, yes. But all that work is going to be done from the Mac and the cable. The ATEM is just looking for a HDMI signal. As long as that converter cable does what it says it's supposed to do, then yes. Back to Vladimir. Have I used a B2Z camera with stick control? Can I set the audio in that control or I need to device? No, what you're gonna need to do to set the level is go into the camera settings web interface. That's the easiest way to do it. Some menus, some of the newer cameras will let you adjust it by using the joystick to go through the menu, but everybody's gonna see the menu. If you have it on your network, you can just go to pull up the web page and you can adjust it. So like, for example, if I go to mine, so I was trying to remember which link it was. So if I log into mine and if I had audio in here, you would go to the audio settings here, and the most that you could do is just turn it on, your sample rate, and then your input volume and stuff like that. That's the most that you can do from here. So if you're trying to just, maybe those settings are enough for you, and you can set your decibel. I don't know why they do it like that, but I mean, that's your main volume that's going to come out of it. So yes, that's the most, that would be the easiest way. Because if you do it through the menu, then everybody's going to see all of the menu stuff that you show up on the screen. So when you do that, so I'll actually switch to that camera so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So if I did the menu this way, why is it not showing? Is it because I have auto tracking on? There it goes. Yeah, I had auto tracking, so it wouldn't show it. So doing the menus like this, now everybody's going to see from right here everything that's going on. But going through the menus here, and again, all of this is different depending on the camera that you have. So if I go and audio settings, that's the only control you got. So the web interface would give you more control to see more that's going on. So that's what kind of I would recommend in that. Let me see. Harold. Yeah, I think it's because somebody else beat you to the registration, but I manually put all of y'all through. So you should, if you log out and log back in, you now should see the menu and all on the upper right-hand corner. And actually, let me put this link on that page for y'all's food as well too. Give me 1 second to do this. So we go to menus. We'll add the lunch form. Put that under here. Then save it. So now, all right. So now when y'all log in, everybody else and anybody who's in there, when you log in, you should now see attendees, and then there's the lunch form. Go into this and then fill that information out. And again, it's going to cross-reference with your registration. So if you don't have a registration, you just fill that stuff out. It's going to be deleted. But you'll know that you're in if you see the attendees and you see this stuff showing up to the conferences and all this other stuff like that. If you're a teacher, you'll get the teacher's page. But everybody else, you should just see account, lunch, conference, and replays. And then add your information. Again, this is only for, and I actually need to change that. That's only for people that are going to be in person. So if you're online, you won't see that. And I need to make that change here in a half a second. Let's see. Samuel also said, also, I have another question. If I subscribe to ProPresenter 7, is there a way I can get ProPresenter and still have the software if I stop paying? No. No, they don't do that anymore. If you're able to still pay for the software, which I think they stopped doing because it's subscription based, the way I used to have it is I paid for the software, and then every year you could still use the software. It will still be unlocked, but you wouldn't get updates. I don't think they do that anymore. I think that's it. Elder Rob was like, what's the dress code for the conference? Comfortable. Don't come in there with a bathing suit or something like that. I mean, honestly, I'm going to wear jeans and a polo. That's what I'm going to be wearing. So nothing super formal. I want y'all to be comfortable, and so that way y'all can be focused on the learning and the teaching and the presenting. And I need jeans because I know I'm going to be running around to be comfortable. You are welcome. And Mike, can we get shirts for the conference if we are online attendees? I will order one. Yeah, I'm working on that. I'd actually made something new, and I was waiting for it to show up. Starting putting our logos on some other stuff as well too. Let me see if it's showing up. I do. See, that's a whole other thing. I'm sitting back thinking logistically about all the other stuff that I'm learning right now that needs to be done next time around. So it's a lot to go through, but I'm trying to make sure we got everything. Where did they move it to? All right, connected stores. Trying to show. Anyway, we have a let's see. Is it showing on eMissionary Gear? Because I think that's the website I normally at the beginning I would do. Oh yeah, it does show up here. So we are gonna have some new stuff here. So we got our Beyond the Four Walls hat, and we got some more stuff we're gonna do. So I am gonna do a conference shirt on here, and I'll list that. I got to make it and design it. So it's gonna be something with the logo and our main logo, which is, if you didn't know, that is Beyond the Four Walls. This is the church in the middle, breaking beyond the four walls. Anyway, that's what that is. And that's the one I did this morning. We're gonna do some more stuff. We still got the polo shirts and stuff like that I had that I'm working on. Teespring doesn't make those, so I might have to go through somebody else to do that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I got to go through somebody else. Teespring doesn't offer that. I got to go through a different embroiderer and stuff like that to make it on my website. But anyway, folks, I think that's about it. Let me know, like I said, if you have any more questions I didn't get to it, email me at questions@ajayhomes.com. Give me 48 to 72 hours to respond. If you need more time, you can always book a consultation, ajayhomes.com/consultations. And I think that's about it. I hope y'all, I'm actually going to be back down at the River Church this Sunday because they were having an issue with their live streaming. Because, yeah, we're just going to help them with their live stream and stuff like that. I mean, because there's a lot to take in with that. So it was a couple of things. I think they had the streaming settings set at hyperdeck, and that's why they couldn't stream, because it was trying to send all of that over the internet, and that's why it didn't work. So we're going to be down there. Their church service starts at 8:30. So we're going to be down at the church at 7:30 to go over everything. So going to be up real early for that. And I think that's about it. Roundtable this Sunday, 7 p.m. And I think that's about it. I'm not going to do my normal stuff, folks, but just say you're appreciated. I say this not just because it's like, ooh, doom and gloom for AJ. No, I understand that this stuff is hard. I understand that you get moments where it's like, what's the point of doing this stuff? I feel that way, honestly, surprisingly, a lot. I feel that way mainly just because of the people around here locally that have access to me all the time. People take stuff for granted, and take people for granted. Not calling out any names, but I'm just letting you know that if I feel that way, sooner or later, I know that some of y'all are feeling the same way. So that's why I wanted to take the moment to say I appreciate and thank you for what you're doing. I know I'm not a part of your church. I'm not in the same city, state, or even country where you're at. But if it wasn't for you, this would be harder. It's good to know that there are other people fighting the battle with the same principles, the same mindset, and the same purpose. That's what makes this worthwhile. So thank you for what you're doing. Know that you're appreciated, and I'd rather not do this without you. So I'm glad that we're in the fight together. I hope y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Appreciate you so much, folks. And we'll be seeing y'all on the next one. Later, folks.